back to the 8 USC is that in 1155 it says that they can challenge them on their petition, but it does not say that they can remove them. And you keep saying,
wait. Where does it say that they can challenge it?
Well, just hold on, real quick. Hold on. Allow me to finish the statement. No, allow me to. Yes, I'm going to just repeat myself. So go ahead and say it. U.S. Supreme Court lets Trump use 1798 law for deportations with limits. Court lifts judge's order that had blocked deportations. Justice place limits on how deportations may occur. Washington, April 7th, from Reuters. The U.S. Supreme Court on Monday allowed Donald Trump to use 1798 law that historically has been employed only in wartime to deport alleged Venezuelan gang members as part of the Republican president's hardline approach on immigration, but with certain limits. The court, in an unsigned 5-4 ruling, granted the administration's request to lift Washington-based U.S. Judge James Boasberg's March 15th order that had temporarily blocked the summary deportations order, Trump's invocation of the Alien Enemies Act, while litigation in the case continues. So all this does is just lifts this stay. This doesn't say that he was wrong for doing the stay, at least not yet. It could be that later on in this article they say that he was wrong for the stay, but it doesn't mean that him blocking the deportations could still be correct and they could block it. Lift it. So they could say, well, he is appealing, and so during this appeal, because Boasberg hasn't found any reason to charge them for denying the court order, he's still doing an investigation. After waiting this long, we eventually have to allow them to go back to deportations until there's another court ruling. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that Boasberg was wrong for what he did. It just means that they just lifted it. So there was a more recent decision, no? This was today, April 7th, 2025. Updated an hour ago. Despite siding with the administration, the court's majority placed limits on how deportations may occur, emphasizing that judicial review is required. Detainees must receive notice after the date of this order that they are subject to removal under the Act. The notice must be afforded within a reasonable time and in such a manner as will allow them to actually seek habeas in relief in the proper venue before such removals occur, the majority wrote. The court has a 6-3 conservative majority. Conservative Justice Amy Coney Barrett and the court's 3 liberal justices dissented. So this isn't. So where Katmere was saying earlier that they changed it, they didn't. This was the entire fucking judge's issue, is that the people who were being deported did not go through any sort of habeas. They have to have the ability to challenge their detainment. That was why Boasberg said that they had to wait. This is saying the same exact thing. It's saying they have to go through the process. You can't just deport people without any sort of process first. Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act on March 15th to swiftly deport the alleged members of Tren de Aragua gang, attempting to speed up removals with a law best known for its use to intern Japanese, Italian, and German immigrants during World War II. In Monday's decision, the court's majority emphasized that it was deciding that the challenges to the deportations under Alien Enemies Act must be brought in the federal court district where the migrants are detained, meaning the proper venue was in Texas, not the District of Columbia. The ruling said the court was not resolving the validity of the administration's reliance on the law to carry out the deportations. So they didn't rule on whether or not it's okay to use the Alien Enemies Act. The plaintiffs in the case challenged the government's interpretation of the act and assert that they do not fall within the category of removable alien enemies, but we do not reach those arguments. An illegal challenge handled by the American Civil Liberties Union, a group of Venezuelan men in custody of U.S. immigration authorities on the same day sued on behalf of themselves and others similarly situated, seeking to block the deportations. They argued, among other things, that Trump's order exceeded his powers because the Alien Enemies Act authorized removals only when war had been declared or the United States had been invaded. The Alien Enemies Act authorizes the president to deport, detain, or place restrictions on individuals whose primary allegiance is to foreign power and who might pose a national security risk in wartime. Rule of law. Attorney General Pam Bondi hailed the court's decision as a landmark victory for the rule of law and criticized Boasberg as an activist judge who exceeded his powers. They didn't win anything. What the fuck? They didn't win anything. They didn't even disagree with Boasberg. The Department of Justice will continue fighting in court to make America safe again, Bondi said in a social media post. Boasberg, an appointee of Democratic President Barack Obama, temporarily blocked the deportations, but Trump's administration allowed 2 planes already in the air to continue to El Salvador, where American officials handed 238 Venezuelan men over to Salvadoran authorities to be placed in the Central American Country Terrorism Confinement Center. The judge also has scrutinized whether the Trump administration violated his order, failing to return the deportation flights after his order was issued. Justice Department lawyers said the flights had left U.S. airspace by the time Boasberg issued a written order and thus were not required to return. They dismissed the weight of Boasberg's spoken order during the hearing 2 hours earlier, calling for any planes carrying deportees to be turned around. Trump's administration has argued that Boasberg's temporary ban encroached on the president's authority to make national security decisions. On March 18th, Trump called for Boasberg's impeachment by Congress, a process that could remove him from the bench, drawing a rebuke from U.S. Chief Justice John Roberts. Trump on social media called Boasberg, who was confirmed by the U.S. Senate in 2011 in a bipartisan 96-0 vote, a radical left lunatic, and a troublemaker and agitator. The D.C. Circuit upheld Boasberg's order after holding a contentious hearing that involved heated language. Judge Patricia Millett told Justice Department lawyer Drew Einstein that Nazis got better treatment under the Alien Enemies Act than has happened here. Einstein responded, "We certainly dispute the Nazi analogy." Many of the family members of many of the deported Venezuelan migrants deny the alleged gang ties. Lawyers for one of the deportees, a Venezuelan professional soccer player and youth coach, said U.S. officials had wrongly labeled him a gang member based on a tattoo of a crown meant to honor his favorite team, Real Madrid. This doesn't actually disagree with anything that they said. What the fuck is wrong with them? This is such a lie.
Mark, we assumed the Supreme Court was going to get active here soon on some of these cases. This seems like the first, and they're saying not only a pause to bring back that one man that they say they deported erroneously, but this is just allowing them to continue their deportation process.
Yeah, this is a big victory for Trump in the new lawfare. So the old lawfare was try to destroy Donald Trump, 91 indictments, 2 impeachments, civil suits to destroy him and all the rest of it. That all failed. He won the election and came back stronger than ever. And so the new law.
This is not a win for him, okay? This says that he is not allowed to just go deport people without any sort of due process. That's what this ruling says. It says that Boasberg was correct, that they have to have some sort of process and allow these people to challenge their detainment, just as the circuit court said they have to allow them to challenge their detainment. Now the Supreme Court has also said you are not allowed to just deport them. You have to allow them to challenge their detainment. So now, moving forward, you can deport people once you've allowed them to challenge their detainment. That's it. What did they think that they were going to do? How is this a big W? Did anybody think that they were going to make it to where you're not allowed to deport people ever again? What did you think the decision was going to be? What did anybody think the decision was going to be? It was not going to be you're never allowed to deport people ever again. This is it. No more deportations. Everybody has to stay. No, of course not. It was just going to be that you're not allowed to deport people without any sort of due process. You're not allowed to just kidnap people off the streets, throw them onto a plane, and drop them off in another country.
Lawfare is to try and stop him from implementing his agenda through a miasma of court cases. And this was a perfect example of it. And the Supreme Court is now allowing him to use this law. So this is a first victory in the fight against the new lawfare.
Susan, we expect that there will be more of these cases that have been stopped in temporary injunctions by federal district judges that will be answered by the Supreme Court in one way or another.
Yeah, this is not the end of this process. These court cases being filed on all sorts of grounds, not just on immigration. Obviously, this is a big victory for President Trump, and it returns him to the issue on which he is most popular, which is his policies on illegal immigration, a diversion from a topic on.
This isn't his policy. His policy was to be able to just deport people under the Alien Enemies Act without any sort of due process. His policy was to be able to just go grab people and throw them out of the country. That's not this.
Which is less popular, which would be the imposition of tariffs, which we've seen have such an effect on the markets today and over the last couple days.
Now I'm thinking about just going and checking on the TikTok panels to see if any of them are talking about this, because I'm sure all of them are running around like, we won. We got a victory.
If you make it up on a panel, you'll get that real information. It's something you should research yourself before you even try to come on a debate panel and say with real information. And I don't debate emotion, so don't come on the panel debating emotion. We're going to debate facts. Now, if it's emotional, then I'm going to say it's an opinion.
Every time
and if
people
it feels
say
like
this,
it's
they're
anecdotal,
lying.
then I'm going to say it's an anecdotal opinion. So let's see here. Who's our first guest? Going to let you up here. I don't have all my mods for my panel, so I'll let you come up, give you a few minutes to express your opinion. And anyone else, more welcome. This is for live for everyone. You know, liberals, left liberals, Trump supporters, conservatives, independents,
Conservatives.
what they call centrists, half left, half right, doesn't matter.
Here we go.
Hello.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Welcome to the. I'm doing great. Welcome to the panel. If you could, please tell me who you voted for and your age.
My age is I'm 36 and I voted for Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris. Okay. Don't have all my mods, but if you would like, I'll give you 3 minutes, just to express your opinion about the current administrator, what's going on, or whatever it may be you have on your mind.
I mean, yeah, you were talking about the stock market earlier. It seems like for the day it's down. For the last week it's down. But there's obviously points in time that you could find that if you count from there, it's going to be up. But overall, I mean, if we're talking broadly, the main issues that I'm going to have are with a lot of the court orders that Trump has been violating, the ways that he's done deportation, today we had another Supreme Court ruling where they made it to where he wasn't allowed to just deport people under the Alien Enemies Act without any sort of due process. They have to use the habeas process now to allow them to challenge detainment. And there's same with some of the firings from the federal appointments that were already there that they've had. They reinstated those people. It seems like almost every single case that I've seen go through the courts so far and make its way to the Supreme Court has been overturned. But I'm down to talk about whatever's on your mind as well.
All right, give me one moment. I do thank you for sharing that opinion. Pilot Boy, I know you, but for the people that don't, your age and who you would have voted for if you could.
40 years old, Australia, would have voted for AJT.
Okay. Now Tom's up here right now. Did you hear any of the things he was sharing, opinions that he had?
I did, and I would love to have a chat to you about those court orders that you said that deemed the executive branch doing something illegal. I would love to have a chat to you about that.
I didn't understand any of
So,
that.
Tom, question. Do you believe in legislation?
I'm sorry, I'm having a lot of trouble understanding some of the stuff that you're saying. Do I understand, or do I believe in what?
Do you believe in legislation?
Yeah, of course.
The rule of law. Okay. Can you do me a favor, please? Can you go look up 8 USC 1155, please?
What is it?
8 USC 1155.
Yes, I know this one. But okay, what part of this do you want me to read?
The entirety, please.
Okay, the Secretary of Homeland Security may at any time, for what he deems to be good and sufficient cause, revoke the approval of any petition approved by him under Section 1154 of this title. Such revocation shall be effective as of the date of approval of any such petition. Then we have...
Okay, so now that you've read that, how would you take that? How would you read that, and how would you understand that?
I would understand it to be that they're able to revoke. Well, it says revoke approval of any petition under 1154. I would have to read 1154.
It's any petition approved by him under 8 USC 1155. By the way, Vaders, you can fuck right off because I know you and you actually haven't checked the law. But anyway, I'm talking to Tom. So 1155 says any petition approved by him under 1154 of the Act. You understand that 1154 is talking about any petition, which includes asylum seeker claims.
Yes, but it says for any that he deems to be good and sufficient cause. And good and sufficient cause is defined in 1154.
It's also defined in 8 USC 1229, Pilot Boy.
Wait, Vader, let me introduce you. Vader, your age and who'd you vote for?
34 Texas, Harris.
All right. Pilot Boy, you want to respond? Pilot Boy, you still there?
Well, I guess I would want to add to that as well. Even under 1155, it also has a ton of other cases that have added to this, including that they have to mail notice to their home addresses, which that didn't seem to be done in a lot of these cases. There's procedures that they have to go through. There's different laws for minors, which it seems like they didn't adhere to. So there's a lot of different aspects of this to just say oh, well, it says he can do it. Yeah, he can, but it has to be good and sufficient cause. And there's a lot of precedent to kind of outline what it is that, or where those lines are drawn.
So, Tom, for what he deems is the big...
To put them into removal proceedings, Pilot Boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part you keep
Yeah,
forgetting.
they would still have to go through some sort of habeas
USC
corpus.
1229.
Correct. They would still have to have some sort of habeas
still...
corpus processes.
Well, I mean, you can even do it under expedited deportation, but once again, 8 USC 1229 for removal proceedings. Freeze up. Anybody here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
I think he keeps. Yeah.
Sorry for that.
Yeah, he's having connection issues.
Yeah.
So for
wondered...
what he deems. So what does that mean?
To put them into
for what
removal
he
proceedings, Pilot Boy.
For what he deems. For what
Correct.
he deems.
Correct.
So
it can be for
anything. So for anything he deems.
Right. He can, for anything he deems, he can put them into removal proceedings.
And he can revoke the visa or the asylum seeker status or any other thing, any other petition, which is any visa application, any claim for asylum, any claim for refugee status, anything. It goes back.
And he can put them into removal proceedings as defined by 8 USC 1229.
And if you go look up 1229, what does it state there under 1229? Please, by all means.
I mean, go right ahead and tell me what it says.
But even on top of that, a lot of these aren't petitions. We're talking about, when we talk about a green card, when we talk about visas, those are petitions that have already. Those are petitions that have already. No, hold on. Those are petitions that have already. Are you gonna just keep repeating yourself, but not allow me to finish a sentence? You said it 5 times already. I got it. If those are petitions that have already been approved, these are once the petitions are approved, it's a little bit different. So if we have somebody who's like sitting in detention waiting on asylum approval, or if we have somebody who's sitting in detention waiting on refugee approval, or if we have somebody who's sitting waiting for visa approval or something like that, yes, they're able to revoke those petitions while they're waiting for approval. But once they've been approved, there are very direct processes that they have to go through.
A petition is any application and any approval.
Like, you're not wrong, Pilot Boy, but you're just keying on 1155. You're not reading the entire Title 8 statute.
Oh, you haven't even read 1325 either, have you?
Oh, I mean, of course I've read 1325, but I mean, I'm just saying, dog, like, if you're going to talk about, yes, the Secretary of State does have the right to revoke any petition. He also has the right to revoke a green card status as it is right now, but as defined by 1229, you still have to follow, putting them into removal proceedings, i.e. habeas corpus claim, even under expedited deportation, they would still need to follow USC 1229.
Yeah, and we can look at the Supreme Court decision that just went through, stating this again, that they have to go through habeas corpus petitions in order for them to, or they have to have the ability to petition through habeas corpus in order to be removed. So all of the people who were removed without any sort of due process were removed illegally. We just had this order come through today. So
have any of you guys actually done an application to become a US citizen or to apply for asylum or anything else? Have any of you guys done that?
No.
No, I was a benefit of birthright citizenship, but
beautiful. I have.
Okay.
Okay, that's great. I go ahead, Tom.
Well, I was gonna say, so what? Like what? So the Supreme Court is wrong, and you know better than they do because you went through the process. Like, what does that mean?
I'm a little curious why he told me to fuck right off before I even came on the panel too.
Wait one moment. Anyone want to request up? It's open to liberals. Anyone voted for Trump, request up. Make sure to tap, like, share, follow if you have not. Thank you.
I mean, I'm more curious as to why he would defend something like that. Like one person being the arbiter of who is or is not allowed into the country seems wholly un-American and kind of ridiculous. There's no process. There's no due process. There's no checks and balances there. There's absolutely nothing to say that if somebody just didn't like you, they could just kick you out of the country. That seems insane. Even the president doesn't have that sort of power. But yeah, he's lagged out again.
Yeah, maybe he's looking something up or a phone call. Because usually when that happens, it could be a phone call or maybe he's using his phone to look something up.
Oh crap! I should have mentioned when you brought me on here. I'm so sorry. It's my fault. I am streaming on YouTube. Is that okay with you, host? I am streaming on my end.
As long as it doesn't go against, and I'll say this for the recording, the TikTok policies.
Yeah, of course. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I stream on TikTok as well. I don't want to get myself in trouble either. Yeah.
Okay. Let me try to get some more people up here that voted for. I like to try to have an even panel so we can have a good discussion. Story Hub, who'd you vote for and your age, please?
Yeah, I'm 19. I'm from Indiana, and I did not vote for anybody this election, but I wanted to comment on and talk about the deportation, and more specifically, why we believe deportation is a good idea. Why do we believe that deportation is going to be beneficial for America, and why is it important that it happens?
Well, just to be clear, I don't think anybody's against deportation. I think all of us, especially if we're talking about immigrants that are here illegally or people who committed crimes, I think the most everybody's in favor of some sort of deportation. It's just more so that we want it to be done legally and we don't want anybody's rights to be taken away. But if you're just arguing that deportation in general is a good idea, yeah, of course. I think everybody wants deportation.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying why do we...
Wait a minute, fellas. Anytime there's a new panel member, I will stop you just to introduce them. We have Pilot Boy, I know you was up here already, but American, who would you vote for in your age, please?
45 and Trump.
All right, welcome to the panel, my friend. But story. You guys are saying.
Yeah, well, yeah. So what I was gonna say was, I'm not here to say that deportation isn't bad because I believe in some, I believe in some cases deportation is 100% the option. What I'm here to say is I don't think that deportation is beneficial for the U.S. and I don't see why it should happen. Would you like me to?
Can I ask you a question real quick?
What's up?
So, like, forget the deportation scenario, right?
Sure.
Somebody goes in, they do something that they're not supposed to do, they become a convicted felon, and then where do they go after that, after they're convicted?
Where do they go after they're convicted? If they're not a U.S. citizen?
No, we're not talking about deportation. We're just talking about
they go to jail. They go to jail. Yeah, they go to jail.
No, they don't go to jail. Jail's small time.
They go to prison. You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. They go to prison.
So now let's go back to what you was talking about just a second ago.
Yeah.
Deportation. Okay. Again, we're not talking about a certain individual or a certain race.
Yeah.
Okay. So with the amount of people that has come across the border, right?
Yep.
You can do the math. You know the statistics. There is a very good possible chance that some of those that do come across, regardless of their race or religion or whatever, they're probably going to have a little bit of criminal history behind them, if not a whole lot. So I don't know about you, but I know how many prisons are here in Missouri, and I've actually been to 3 of them. And I'm an American. I was born and raised. We already have so much stuff going on in our own prisons right here in America. There's no way for us to be able to take in the people that have done wrong in our country. Even the fact that they're still considered, deported. I hate that word. I don't like it. But we don't have room for somebody that is not a legal citizen in here. We barely even have enough room in our prisons for our American people.
I'm sorry.
Belong there.
I think Story Hub lagged out, but I don't think he was saying that we shouldn't deport people who have committed crimes. But we didn't end up hearing his argument to know what it was that he was trying to say.
But the thing is that we're not deporting people that are actually over here that's really trying to follow the laws and going through the court system.
Well, we are.
What they're supposed to do rightly.
Well, we are. That's kind of the point.
So you're talking about a statistic now. You're talking about, let's just throw a number out there. You're talking about 1 million people coming over for the last 4 years or so, right? Do you not think there's going to be flaws in that?
Hold on. We're not talking about things happening for 4 years. We're talking about things that are happening right now, and we're talking about even certain people like Abrego who just got removed. Hold on. We're talking about Abrego, who ICE literally had marked in their system as somebody who was not allowed to be removed. A judge had already given a no removal order on this person, and then they still put him on a plane and deported him anyways. And after they deported him, a judge told them that they had to bring him back because he was not allowed to be removed from the United States, and they said, we're not going to. Like, we're not just talking about them removing people illegally, or even, detaining them illegally, then removing them illegally, but then refusing to bring them back illegally. Like, these are all illegal processes. We're not just talking about mistakes.
El Salvador doesn't want him to come back to the United States. They want him to keep him there because he's safe.
But I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that's true. I think they have him in a prison.
Well, 1 minute, fellas. We have a new panel member. Is that Elijah?
Anyway, back to what I was saying. So
Hold on, he's introducing someone.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
Elijah, are you there? Hello. All right, I guess I'll have to bring you back then.
Story Hub, can
Go
you
ahead,
tell
guys.
us what your argument was initially that you were saying? What was your argument for who shouldn't be removed?
Yeah. So I think that a lot of people who come here legally, I don't agree that the large percent of who is to be deported or detained, I guess, is probably what I'm looking for. But I don't think that is beneficial to the U.S. economy because, while
I'm sorry, before you get to the economy part, do you agree that somebody who's committed crimes and has committed like felonies or something, you agree they should be removed? Yes.
Should be deported, 100%.
And then
yes.
if somebody's here illegally, and let's say they were here for a while and they just didn't apply for any sort of like visa, they didn't apply for any green cards, they didn't apply for any sort of legal status, do you think those people should be removed, or do you think they should just give them legal status, or what is your argument for them?
I think that is something that you raise a good point there, because there's application. I do believe that the U.S. should make it a lot easier for the application process to happen. And while I understand that there are safeguards for that, and the reason why it's so difficult is because they want to make sure that everyone coming in here is safe for the U.S., I think that it is I'm not going to say that. I think that the process should be a lot easier, and I think that's the reason why we have so many undocumented immigrants here, because if they wanted to, they would. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. So let's say
there's
without
absolutely no reason why someone would come to the U.S. and not try to apply and not try to apply for citizenship. So I believe that if they have not made any attempt to try and make it known that they want to be a citizen, then I believe that, yes, I'll have to agree with you that they should probably be deported or taken into or detained, I guess, and maybe what's it called? Put on books.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry.
So American, did you have any issues with those things? Because American was the one who was asking before.
What's that?
Theoretical question.
Yeah.
Isn't illegal immigrants coming across, even the ones with the visas and the green cards and so forth, when they come over here, is that not cutting the line? Is that
No.
fair?
I think that fair is a good question, but that's kind of, a bit moral, because then you're talking about.
I mean, how many people? Do you really know the statistics of the people that are coming over?
I know a few illegal immigrants. I do.
Well, there's not
hard to
follow.
Just to be clear, there's not a lot of illegal immigrants that came over under Biden, though. There's not, like, when we're talking about the statistics, there was not a lot.
Come on, man. Really,
whoa. Tom, did you just say there wasn't a lot of illegals coming over?
Yes, correct. So most of the stats that we were given under Biden were encounters. The majority of encounters are at ports of entry, and that includes people who are turned around. Then it also includes people who came around the fence, and you can look at the stats. It literally says the majority of them are people who were at ports of entry. Then on top of that, a lot of the people who came in illegally,
why are you trying to force it down my throat? Why are you trying to force it down my throat? Because you know you're wrong.
Good for DECA.
Wait, hold on.
Wait, America, I'll let you go.
Wait, I was just trying to explain what I was saying.
No, I know where you're going. You claiming a lot. Let me just stop it right there. I have a buddy that works at the border right now. They were getting so overrun. Mind you, the military is just down there to police things, but they can't make arrests. They were pushing over barricades and cutting wires to come right through under Biden. Facts.
Yeah, that doesn't give us an idea of statistics, though.
And I think that is not a bad thing for the.
One of my buddies,
that is not a bad thing for the U.S.
One of my buddies, his wife was in a truck down there. I guess she was coming to visit him. One of the vans plowed through and almost took out his whole family.
Sure, but that doesn't give us an idea for statistics. It doesn't give us an idea for numbers. I have buddies who work down there too. I'm not going to give you their anecdotal experiences.
Can I let my plane?
Yeah.
Can I let my plane? I'm gonna give you anecdotal, and I'm gonna give you facts.
You said no anecdotal, or
once I invite him to the live, he'll give you the facts because he's actually working the border and he has the numbers that aren't inflated. because he worked. He worked, so he's going to give you the exact numbers.
How does he have?
I have
numbers
the
at the
numbers.
U.S. government?
Because he's assigned.
How
That's
does-
his job. He's assigned to keep track of the border.
Yes.
So he's at every single station, counting every single person.
On the border in Arizona, he lives in the same state. I live in Arizona.
He's on every single one, really.
No, he's on the border for Arizona.
So is he at
Now,
one station?
I do have another buddy that works for ICE. So you want me to go down that path too?
No, we have the numbers though. The numbers are public. We don't have to go down those numbers. It doesn't matter what your friend has.
You have numbers that are inflated by the media.
No, I don't. It has nothing to do with the media. These are
we
government
talking about numbers
agencies.
that are released by the government.
Yeah, is it from Trump right now, or is it from the Biden administration?
It was from the Republican Commission on Immigration.
Right
Yes.
now with the current administration.
What year?
It was at the end of 2024. It was September of 2024 when they came out with the numbers for the Biden administration.
How's that even possible? When
Wait. Hold on, America, wait.
Well, I mean, Trump was elected.
Wait, panel. I have a new person on the panel, and this is actually one of my buddies I was speaking about. Miami, your agent.
Yo, what's up, brother?
What's up, brother?
Chilling. Just into the comments here.
Your agent, who'd you vote for? TikTok purposes, please.
Who, me? Trump, and I am 50.
Do you have any opinions, anything, or any facts you would like to share with these guys so far as border illegal?
I'm just listening. I mean, I was with ICE for 21 years. My last 10 years, I did it with the ICE Fugitive Task Force, hunting down fugitives from 2000 and 11 through 17, 18. And what we're doing now, what the agency's doing right now, is taking out what Obama and Biden allowed in throughout their presidency, creating immigration chaos, basically.
You're talking about the people who are number one and number two in deportations, Obama and Biden.
Hey, let us
They are.
first, bro.
They are. I mean, well, Obama deported 2.9 million people, of which I believe it was roughly 1.9 or 1.8, I believe, were low-level criminals or non-criminals at all, and the rest were actually violent criminals. I can tell you that Obama in 2012 sent out an executive order or executive memorandum to the agency saying that ICE agents could not arrest anybody that did not have a felony conviction. I'm sorry, a felony arrest and a felony conviction, or 3 misdemeanor arrests and 3 misdemeanor convictions, or be part of an STG, which is a security threat group like the MS-13s or the Trandaragua now, and these guys, Sureños, or be a person associated with a T organization. And that basically tied the hands of ICE agents back then from being able to properly execute the laws dictated as Title 8 and under the INA.
How does it do that? Because I mean, I understand that completely. By the way, let me also say thank you for your service. I
appreciate it.
I have great respect in that.
Thank you.
So, could you walk up to someone walking on the street? Well, okay. First off, let me backtrack a little bit. You said that you were not allowed to arrest anyone without a convicted felony.
Well, the arrest and the conviction.
Arrest or conviction. Okay.
No, not or, with conviction.
Arrest with conviction. I got you. Okay. And then what else was it?
Oh, and it was either a felony, arrest and conviction, or 3 misdemeanors with arrest and conviction.
And then what'd you say at the end about MS-13?
They categorized back then. They were categorized as an STG or a security threat group.
Right.
And those were guys that were assigned into that, like the MS-13s, the Sureños, the Mexican,
Well, we were allowed to remove them.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you were allowed to remove them, but only under the circumstances that they had a previous or outstanding or order of deportation, or the judge ordered them deported.
So if you walk down the street into a bit of a shady neighborhood, you saw someone who was Crip, right? And you talked to him. He's like, "Yeah, I'm a Crip."
I didn't mean to say
Would
remove.
you
I meant
be
to
able
say
to arrest
detain.
them then? You know what I'm saying?
Not if they weren't a U.S. citizen. I mean, there's questions that they have to ask the person. Hey, where were you born?
Right.
You have ID.
But what makes that?
social.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You run their social,
Mhm.
if they have one, and we have databases that would give us information about everybody.
So what makes that any different than this supposed disability to, go after them unless they have a conviction or 3 misdemeanors?
Well, I mean, now it's
Unless they
different. Now with the way that the administrations that was taken away, and then now with this new administration, they're actually enforcing the law the way it's supposed to be enforced. They're actually targeting. It's a targeted operation primarily with
Right.
collaterals. There's going to be collaterals involved in here.
Sure, yeah.
But for the most part, from what I'm seeing, from talking to people that are still on the job, it's basically targeting individuals that have order of removals, people that are involved in illicit activities, people that like local
Of course,
law
yeah.
enforcement are saying, hey, we arrested this guy 10 times.
Yeah.
And he's a pain. He's a pain in the community. They run him. The guy's illegal, and they'll take him into custody, put him into proceedings.
Okay.
So I mean, it's now, are there people being bunched in there that are just collaterals, that they're just basically what they call EWIs, entry without inspections, that are not criminals? Yeah, but they're still illegals regardless. I mean, at one point they broke the law. And immigration law, just so you guys know, immigration law is not criminal unless you commit a crime like reentry after deportation.
Yeah, it's civil.
Right.
It's special.
My question,
they're
Miami,
actually administrative charges.
Well, crossing the border illegally is criminal. It's only civil if you overstay a visa, which is obviously by far the majority of them.
It's not criminal. 1325 is not criminal. 1325, for example, is administrative. It's an administrative law that you broke. It's not really a criminal law. But
Correct.
if you were removed previously and you came back in, then it does.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right.
For deportation.
Go ahead, Vader. You had a question.
Yeah, but more or less, my issue comes down to the legality of specific, what are we specifically, individuals like Fabian Schmidt, the French doctor, the woman from Tufts University. I think the precedent. I don't think the law is being applied correctly at all, especially when we're talking about.
Well, if you look at those people, these are people like the lady from the university. She was here on a student visa. So student visas are revocable at any given time. I mean, student visas is not a right; it's a privilege.
So hold on. So that gives in your opinion, that gives them the right to scoop her up off the street.
They could, yeah. I mean,
without due process.
Why?
Because I think that's a clear violation.
The due process begins after the arrest is done. The due process is done after the arrest is done. I mean, don't forget the people that actually issue the visas is the State Department. So the State Department is the one that issues the visa, and there's a law there under 212, under Section 212 or 237, that the government can ask the State Department to have the visa revoked. So it's not just ICE doing it. It's a two-man team.
So why was her?
But that
One
doesn't
panel. 1 second. Lisa, I know you. She's actually my moderator. Your age and who'd you vote for?
55 and Trump.
You guys
Hi,
be
Lisa.
nice. I have a moderator up here.
Hello.
So back to your question, like I was saying, I mean, it's like a two-man tag team. It's basically the State Department that issues the actual visa, and then ICE is the one that's requesting from the State Department to revoke it because of her affiliations with what's considered to be a T organization, outside of the country. So those F1 visas are removable at any given time. I mean, they can take away the
but
visa.
still at behest of AUSC 1229.
Yeah, yes, it goes back to the State Department.
Oh, no, of course, yeah. I mean, you have to go into proceedings.
But some of these individuals have also had search and seizure violated just based on a hunch. You know what I'm saying? Specifically like Fabian Schmidt. I can't speak on that. Is the law being executed correctly?
Well, the Supreme Court just sided with Trump that he can
No, they did not.
send people out of the custody.
No, they ordered that he wasn't
people
allowed to do it
actually
without habeas corpus, which was what the ruling was over. They were challenging him that he didn't allow them to challenge their detainment under habeas corpus. And the court ruled that he was allowed to continue. So they got rid of the stay because obviously they're not going to say that you're not allowed to deport anyone ever again. So they just said you're allowed to start deporting people again, but you have to give them the ability to challenge their detainment under habeas.
Right, and that also depends too on the category of entry, because if they came in with an ESTA, which is the the non-visa people, they don't have any rights at all whatsoever. You basically Form 878, and those are removable just by the signature of an STDO, which is a supervisory detention deportation officer.
I don't know what y'all's problem is with this. Like, we spent billions of dollars for these people, of our taxpayer dollars.
And how much?
Are y'all delusional or something?
How much money did they make for the economy?
90 billion. But you know what we spent on them?
How much money they sent back home?
What are they going to do? They're going to have kids, and what are those kids going to do?
That's their problem. Take their kids with them.
Their kids are going to work.
Lisa,
and then what are those kids going to do? Have more kids.
I think we were having a pretty productive
and they're going to make more and more money for the U.S.
I think we were having a
pretty
removing
productive
conversation until that, Lisa.
We
I'm
are
not trying
not.
to be rude, but
Well, you kind of are.
You are.
No, I'm not. I'm talking.
Sorry.
I'm talking with Miami about the legality of certain things.
You're right. I'm sorry.
No, not that. I'm not really talking to you, Story. I just didn't appreciate the random ad hominem out of nowhere. But
Ad hominem.
Easy now.
Did you not hear him say that I'm his moderator, which means he's not
I did hear
I'm
him
his
say
co-host.
I'm just trying to point out that we're
I'm
having
basically
a
like his
conversation.
co-host, so don't be disrespectful to me.
Ma'am, I wasn't.
If you call that productive.
No disrespect.
Okay,
I think
anyways.
you are by trying to correct me like I'm your child or something and saying I'm ad hominems and shit like that. That is disrespectful.
Well, I think that's just a basis for a good debate.
What the fuck?
You don't interrupt people. That way he can say what he feels, and then you can say what you feel.
I just came up, and he asked me to tell my name and stuff. So I like everybody else. It's my opportunity to say something at that point.
But
you came up and said we were.
Well, yeah, but
Okay, can we just go back to the conversation about the legality?
Whatever.
Yeah, let's go back.
Yeah.
Wait. This ain't your party. This is my party. Lisa, what you want to do?
No, nothing. They get it disrespectful again. I'll just drop them. I ain't worried about it.
All right, it's your party.
Anyways,
Okay.
I don't know where we were, guys.
Yeah.
We're talking about the legality. So yeah, with an F1 visa like that student from the college or the university, they can revoke that at any given time and send her back home. Again, people that come under the ESTA, like I was saying, the people that come under the visa waiver program, they have no rights whatsoever. I mean, that's one of the conditions of having the visa waiver is that they have no rights. But I think that if you are going to put someone into proceedings, that it needs to be done, correctly. And the thing is that also with immigration, if you're aware of immigration has other steps to it. Like, for example, if you go in front of an IJ and the IJ orders you removed from
We're at $10 out of 25 for round one. We got 37 minutes left in the first round if we want to continue doing debates or reviewing stuff. We got to hit the goals. So we got to make it to the total of 25 before the end of the round.
the other facility, and they'll just go ahead with the flow and just take the removal order and leave. Some people choose not to. Some people choose to fight it and go to the BIA appeal. I've seen things go all the way up to the courts of appeal, like the circuit of appeal. So I mean, it all depends on how far you want to take the fight. But I think that people that for example, especially for like legal permanent residents that have committed a crime that makes them deportable, I think that they should definitely have a due process of the law. To go through all the steps that they can to
Miami, I got a question to ask you, buddy.
Sure.
Hold on a second, American. Let me introduce Nanya and Chrissy. Could you ladies tell everybody on the panel how old you are and who you voted for? We know and love who
and
you
I
are.
voted for Trump.
My name is Angel, and I voted for Kamala.
Oh no.
No, please, no. That's Chrissy.
Voted for
That's Nanya.
Trump, and I'm in my 50s.
And for the panel, these are my other mods, Nanya, Chrissy. So it's Lisa.
Okay.
Nanya,
Nice to
Nanya.
meet you guys.
Pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
Go ahead, American.
So Miami, let me ask you a question. With everything you've seen as criminalized and everything with what you do,
Mm-hmm.
you tell me to make the other side or whatever, since we can't come together, can you tell me how many prisons that we would have to build in the United States of America to compensate without having deportation?
Without having what? I'm sorry.
How many prisons would we have to build in the United States to compensate the other side so we don't have to deport these illegal immigrants?
Well, things that immigration currently has a whole bunch of what they call SPCs, or processing centers, which is these are like immigration facilities that are run by immigration and owned by immigration. And then you have the CCAs and you have other like correctional facilities throughout the country that they rent space out to ICE to hold these people. So we really wouldn't have to build more jails as long as those jails are willing to accommodate the prisoners. It just gets expensive because, like, for example, I'm gonna give you numbers.
Yeah.
If, for example, if you look at a SPC to house a healthy alien, daily, you're looking at about $110, $120 a day for every person. If you go to a CCA, you're looking at like 160, 170, 180.
Like that's going to break us.
Well, that's why.
So,
That's why.
very expensive.
I wanted to go back to what we were talking about. I wanted to go back to what we were. It's okay. I'm sorry. I have a lag. Did I interrupt somebody?
Go ahead.
Give me one second. I want to address somebody in the comments.
What percent?
Justine, with your question of Lisa, what if you're dying and a brown person is the one who could save you? I've had a black boyfriend. He comes to see me when Elton's still and we're split up.
Got a sister over here.
Wait, y'all. Wait. Lisa, I got to bring you back real fast.
Sorry. I just read her comment.
I know. She set you up for that one. Somebody, y'all want to bring
That's a stupid thing to ask. That is a ridiculous question. That is
I just want to address that. I don't think any.
Wait till my mind get back up. Bring her back up, y'all. While we waiting, I just need one more step to hit my goal. I don't want to seem like I'm begging to anyone, but help me out if you want. Tap the screen. It's free. Gift the panel. Gift the host.
I'll give you a hat, brother.
You can subscribe to Icy. You can follow him for future lives. If you're not tapping, you're napping.
There's two of them.
Tapping is clapping.
Thank you. Yeah, my show actually subbed earlier, so that made me 1 off from 10.
I don't think anybody on the left is against deportation. The problem is the proper application of the law. That's been the argument from us for the most part. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, so correct. So that's why I wanted to take it back to what I was talking about earlier, where like when you're talking about the number of people or Biden was putting limitations on detainment of these people, that is because they had like way too many people detained. They were trying to create like easier processes for these people to have paths to citizenship or to get visas or green cards. And so they were letting people in after small amounts of vetting. They were letting them into the country with court cases to where they had to meet with a deportation officer. That is so that they weren't housing all of these people and paying for them to be detained the entire time, but instead they were moving towards some sort of process. The reason that he had the largest number of repatriations, removals, and deportations is because a lot of those people didn't meet his requirements for what they needed to meet in order to come into the United States. But once they did, they didn't want people to get removed while they're waiting to go to a court case.
Vader, I have to say, when you say I don't think anyone on the left is against deportation, do you mean deporting people for just simply coming over illegally?
I mean, if you the problem, I guess let me tailor this. I don't think we have any problem with deporting criminals.
Correct.
I don't think that's ever been up for debate. I also don't think any of us are against reform of the system itself either. Because I mean, anybody who studies Title VIII, I'm sure Miami can back me up on this. The laws are kind of convoluted. It takes an extremely long time for the process to take place. So I think I think a more streamlined system is needed and reform is needed. My issue comes down to application of the law and violations of civil rights. So I do think that the idea of collateral, yes, I guess you could make that point, but I also would make the point that one violation of civil rights is too many.
I completely agree with that.
I also believe. I mean, I'll be honest with you. When I was on the streets, and we would hit, we would go off to targeted arrests in the morning. We were not, looking basically for the guy that doesn't have, any kind of criminal history. And I mean, our job was to run everybody in the house, and we were allowed in. We'd run everybody and make sure that everybody was NCIC negative, and that didn't have any kind of prior immigration run-ins or anything like that. And I would let guys out on the street until it came back to bite me in the butt, because I let one guy one time, not take him into custody, and the guy like a month and a half later wound up doing a robbery and hurting somebody, and that was the end of my don't touch anybody type of situation, because it came to bite me back, because they realized that I had run the guy in NCIC and didn't take any action, which legally I didn't have to, but I did. I just did it out of not wanting to hurt the guy, and it came back to bite me. So what I started doing afterwards was basically taking them into custody, issuing them a bond, which we're allowed to give up to $5,000 bond.
Yeah.
Or put them on the ATD, which is the alternate to detention program, on an ankle monitor until their court hearing would come up, because like that at least we can track them and where they're around and stuff like that. But it's a double-edged knife, it's just a double-edged sword.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think collateral is definitely a very big part.
Oh,
lost him again. Deep state keeps getting them. But yeah, there's a bunch of examples of the type of people that we're talking about, like Muhammad Khalil. We were talking about the 5 people.
Sorry,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
One second, guys. If you're on the panel and you're tapping, please make sure you mute up, else it won't allow.
I got you. So Trump's executive order on the 25th, I believe, it lowered the priorities which Obama had put in place from with undocumented immigrants, from criminals to people who are just undocumented, right? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. So why? I guess is part of my question, because if these people aren't criminals, what makes them any different than a U.S. citizen?
Because
you ran into someone who ended up going and robbing a store, was it?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, what's that any different than you going up and walking down a neighborhood talking to a U.S. citizen? And
because the difference is that U.S. citizens belongs here. I mean, you can arrest him and he goes to jail, but when the guy's illegal, why would you allow someone or give him the opportunity to commit a crime?
To give them the opportunity. I mean, what makes you think that they're going to do that no matter what?
I mean, you really can't predict that. I mean, everybody's unpredictable. I've seen guys that are here illegally, and they unalive 3 nuns during a driving case.
It's dangerous, yeah.
So, I mean, it's you never know what that person's going to do, in the future. I mean, that holds true to a U.S. citizen, illegal, U.S. resident. I mean,
a lot of the people coming here.
You guys shut up.
Yeah, go on. I'm sorry.
I'm saying, you just can't predict that. It's unpredictable, but. As an ICE agent, you have the responsibility or the duties to apprehend anybody who's here illegally. That's just your job.
Yeah, no, I completely. I mean, I understand that, and I
was about to say you've been calling me Tim for a year now. I don't want to fucking hear it from you. Okay.
Deported or detained and deported. But with that being said, I guess what I'm trying to point out is these people, they aren't coming here to commit crimes. They're coming here to work and have a better life. Am I going to say that there aren't the people that are doing bad things? Of course not. But you have people here doing that. You have people there doing that. And you're going to always have people doing that.
One bad apple ruined it for the rest. It sucks.
What's that mean?
But we have to put our safety first. If there's these people that's coming with it's coming in with the innocent people, making it bad.
Feel that getting rid of everyone is the way to do that? I mean, think about the harm that's
everyone. If they're not going through the right way, I mean, there's a side on, but the illegals, bad people made it worse. It also hurt the people that had paperwork in that was already trying to go through. Now we had to shut them off.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
but the stats that we have say that it's actually less likely with somebody who's an illegal immigrant.
Yeah,
don't know-
I mean, they're not coming here to commit crimes.
Hey, stop. It's over. It's done. The border is closed off. Y'all can go around a circle. That's the law.
You don't know how
Hey,
backed up
I'm not
USCIS is
saying
right now.
it's-
USCIS is
Like,
backed
cause
up
I'll
for
tell you
years.
this. I'll tell you. Wait. I want to say something else. The people that actually made it through the process and now are legal, that are citizens, actually voted for them to get sent back too. So be mad at them.
No, they probably did not.
Yeah, sure, but we're giving
Yes, they
arguments
did.
against the
I have a
logic
lot-
that
I
you're
have a lot-
using.
I have a lot of people. Wait.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
people,
no,
you know
that
how
has
many people
nothing to
wait.
do with any of
You
this,
know how many
really.
people I have come on my panel that said I voted for Trump, and I got my citizenship, and I come on now. I have them say it constantly. I know people. I live in Arizona. People got that paper.
Yeah,
that
I
says,
know you know people.
It's unfair.
but-
You got to understand, these people are getting jumped ahead of line. They've been waiting, 15, 20 years to just try to get in, and then we had to take money and stuff to try to add, courts and stuff to try to help the illegals. That's unfair. If I'm standing in line doing it the right way, and then 5 people jump ahead of me, whether they bad people or good people, they jump
So
ahead
why
of me.
is-
That's
why
unfair
is
to
the-
them. Do you not care about the people that's trying to come the right way?
You
don't
said
wanna-
before I
course
came
I
on
do.
that you
Of course
just
I
wanted
do.
to talk about
But so
stats
why
and
is the
facts, but
answer-
you're giving a lot of like anecdotes about I know people, my friend
so-
said, like
so
I
this
did
is-
this.
Dude, let me tell you
real
something.
quickly,
Let me tell you something, bro.
what makes you think that the answer to this problem-
Let me shut you down because you'll be. I just gave you facts. I brought Miami up. That's one fact.
That's
Remember I
not.
told you
That's
I had two
another
friends? Let me-
anecdote.
Wait.
Well,
No,
hold
what
on.
he said is facts.
But
Well, yeah,
okay,
but me and
that's
Miami.
I can't confirm any of those facts. I cannot confirm any of his personal experiences. I cannot just take it from his word. I have data. I have data from people who are. Real quick. I'm just
knows the actual laws
sure, but I'm
and
trying.
the fucking
I'm not
legislation.
sure, but
No, you'll
sure.
love this guy. You'll love this guy. You won't get a chance to say a damn word. He'll give you all the facts you want.
No, sure. But I'm saying that I understand the law as well, and I'm saying that I also have tons of documents from the authorities on these scenarios that are well above him, that are in charge of
My
him.
thing is, why are we going to allow 100% of these quote unquote asylum seekers into our country and stay for years while they're waiting for asylum, while 92% of them are going to be denied anyway?
Well, they're not. They're not. Once they
are.
No, they're not. The majority of them get denied.
92% of asylum
I understand.
claims are denied.
I understand, but that's the majority of them are getting denied before they ever come into the country. You're saying we let them in the country and then 92% of them are denied, but that's not true. They're denied before they come in.
That CB1 app allowed them to come over
Correct.
our border.
Those people are already approved.
Tom, that's incorrect.
No, they're not.
Let me tell you, just
They
so
are
you know
approved to
the
have a
current-
court date, to have a hearing.
Lisa, Tom is another one of those. You
No.
can sit here and tell him everything, and he's not going to.
No, hold on. I can show you the actual information. I can show you that somebody who gets approved through the CBP1 app is one of the 8%.
Oh, his name is Tomfoolery.
I can tell you that I can show you the actual information that shows that the people who got approved on the CBP1 app are part of the 5% that actually get approved. That they are the people who are getting approved because the CBP1 app. Okay, I would rather listen to your friend. Go find your friend to tell me instead. Sure, true. Don't listen to the government. Give me your friend instead.
How can somebody get to me for saying that? I want them all gone.
Yeah.
Wait. Miami's trying to say something. Let Miami go ahead.
The majority of the people that have applied for asylum, or the ones that got the I-228, are the ones that are doing asylum seeking, and you also have people that come in from like Venezuela, Colombia, and other countries that are seeking these asylums. Right now, the stats with USCIS is about 33% of those people that applied for these asylums are getting approved because they're like cookie cutter stories, and they all have the same exact stories.
I'm gonna drop and give Mark my spot.
Okay, yeah, because I was trying to keep it balanced.
I'll be in the comments, okay?
Okay.
Drop me and then I'll let him up.
Okay.
Yeah, we
So
all
these
agree
are
on that
people
part.
That most of those people are going to be denied because they come with the same crap. A lot of these people have the opportunity to actually seek asylum in other countries like Peru, Colombia, Chile,
Correct.
Brazil, and they don't come here because of political.
Hold on a
reasons. They
second.
come for
American,
better
can I drop you down so I can bring Pop Boy up?
I'm gonna go down myself in a minute, guys, because I have to
American.
go to work. But just so you guys know, I mean, 33% of the actual
He's
people
not
that
paying
apply
no
for
mind.
asylum.
I'll bring you back up then, American.
Keep going, Miami. Keep going. I know you got to get off in a second.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that 33%. I'm sorry. Well, mhm.
Yeah, so I guess.
Hold on a second. We want to introduce people.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Marvelous, how old are you and who did you vote for?
Hi, Lisa. I am the one recipient that's still receiving Social Security. I am 359 years old, and I voted for Trump.
Okay. Pilot Boy, how old are you and who did you vote for?
I was on Indian before, 40 years old, Australia, and I
There we
can't
go.
vote in the US election
Right
because
as
you
I
know, I'm not a
finally-
US citizen,
I finally got them to stop.
but I'm trying to do it the right way.
My shit cut off.
Hey, Tom, and to Vader, like we were discussing before, you guys still aren't discussing the third point of 1325. Attempts to gain entry or gains entry into the United States by willfully misleading or false information.
Correct.
The CBP1 app was designed for commercial transport.
Correct.
That's what the whole purpose of the CBP1 app was, to allow for commercial transport to occur.
When
misused.
you say commercial transport, you mean for them to buy their own tickets. They buy their own tickets.
Guys,
for,
hold on a second.
No.
100%.
That wasn't the argument.
Yes, 100%. I can show you every single government agency saying that they have to buy their own tickets. I can show you 10 different sources right now.
Tom.
Are we gonna let him show the sources, Pilot? Can we see the source?
Yeah, let's see the
CBP1, the CBP1 app was designed for commercial transporters to allow them entry into the United States for the purpose of trade.
I just can we see the
Yeah, I literally have a video. It's like the third video on my channel is actually going over all of the sources on there.
And then that Pilot Boy, that's also not the argument we were having. We were having the argument that your point is that deportation isn't, you're not guaranteed due process for that. You can, the Secretary of State
Correct.
can just toss you out at a moment's whim. That was the argument. And under 8 U.S.C. 1229, you are wrong. That
Correct.
was, you still even
At USC 1155,
you still have to put them into removal proceedings.
Under USC 1155, they have the authority to throw them out. They have the authority.
No,
to
they have
cancel
the
visas
authority
at any
to-
point. Under 8 USC 1227. Okay, under 8 USC 1227, deportable aliens. What does it state there?
It doesn't say on 1155 that they can remove them. It does not say anywhere on there that they can remove them.
Deportable if they are not a fit and proper person.
All of that refers to is that they can be put into removal
Correct.
proceedings.
Correct.
I don't know how many times that I can have to explain this.
Oh my lord!
Yes, it does not say. Just real quick, just
Vader's attorney. Vader's attorney.
What?
I've got to deal with this. So, does an immigration officer have the judicial right to make that decision on the fly?
On the fly.
Absolutely
Yes,
not.
they do. Yes, they
Absolutely
do.
not.
Yes, they do.
during approval
Yes, they do.
processes.
Yes, they do.
During
Now you're gonna
approval
argue with the
processes.
attorney.
Yes, they do.
Absolutely not.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely not.
No.
You don't have the authorities and immigration officers.
Wait, let Miami go. Let Miami go. I know you got to get off to go to work, Miami. Go ahead.
Yeah, as an immigration officer, you don't have the authority to do it. As a matter of fact, even on the 878, which is the one you issue for the removal of people that come under the ESTA, which are the non-visa waivers that have no rights whatsoever, it still has to be signed off by an SDDO, which is Supervisor Detention Deportation Officer or above that rank, an AFOD, which is Assistant Field Office Director or the Deputy Director or the Director himself. So no, you cannot. As an immigration officer, you don't have the authority. You can recommend it, but it doesn't mean that it will be done. Now, if you came legally and you were admitted, either under I-220 or 212 or 237 entry, you have to see an immigration judge and he has to order you removed. There's a due process of the law. And like I was saying before, it even has to go, the person even has the ability to even appeal to the BIA, which is the Bureau of Immigration Appeals, to be able to fight the judges, the IJ's order if need be. And it could even go higher than that as well. Never really does, but it could go higher to other higher courts.
I just want to, for clarity as well, I agree with Miami completely on what he is saying. Like the problem is that there's this narrative going around that these individuals aren't entitled to due process. And I and that's just flat out false.
Correct. The part that Pilot Boy is getting mixed up is that they're able to start the like removal process, but it doesn't say. So it says that they can.
Supreme Court just
Hold on.
ruled that they have the right to do what they did?
No, I just said that earlier that they said that they have the right to, or that they have to send them through a habeas process first. You can. What I know, I read it. I can read you the actual ruling right now. I have it right in front of me. It's the appeals court reverses Trump's firings. Or sorry, that's the wrong one. U.S. Supreme Court uses 1798 law for deportation limits, and then it says the court lifts the order that had blocked deportations, but the judge placed limits on how the deportations may occur, ordering that they have to go through a habeas corpus process to allow detainees to challenge their removals. This is from Reuters. Or Reuters in the title.
Which they're all going to get public defenders, and that's going to cost America even more money.
Well,
they're all going to get what?
That's them choosing to remove people unnecessarily. But back to the USC is that in 1155 it says that they can challenge them on their petition, but it does not say that they can remove them. And you keep saying.
Wait. Where does it say that they can challenge it?
Just hold on, real quick. Hold on. Allow me to finish the statement. No, allow me to. Yes, I'm going to just repeat myself. So go ahead and say it.
The matter is, I did not even finish what I had to fucking say. I did not even actually get to finish what I had to say.
You were interrupted me when you first came in. What do you mean?
Because you're not letting him finish what he was saying. You're interrupting, like you're doing.
USC 13.
If you give us that, I'm gonna step down, guys. Have a good evening.
Okay, Miami. Thanks for coming up.
Brother, be safe. Thank you for your time. God bless everyone and be safe, guys. Stay safe.
Have a good one, man.
Yep.
Have a good one.
USC 1155.
There's another attorney in the chat.
Am I done? Am I done talking, or am I just going to fucking just talk to people? I'd probably get a better response from a fucking brick wall.
Anyways, there's another attorney in the chat if y'all want to bring him up here.
He's answering your question.
You're talking about Rollo?
Certainly not bringing Rollo up.
You're talking about Rollo, the person I asked
That's not happening.
the one that I asked for is actual documentation, and he said no.
Yeah, that's because that's illegal.
Every state is different.
It's actually it's not illegal. It's not actually illegal. It is the right of the it is the right of the clients. It is the right of the client.
It's not Rollo.
Wait, Pilot, you live in Australia, right?
Yes, I am.
Hold on a second. We got a money gun.
Oh boy.
Who do you want it to be, American?
And I mean, also,
Tommy boy.
Na na.
Right, Tommy.
Na na. Na na na.
Right, Tommy.
Na 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 na. Hey hey hey.
Why did they kick me?
You gonna threaten me with an NPL lawsuit too, Pilot Boy?
Well, do you want a UPL because you're coming on here saying that you're an attorney?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying.
You're saying you're an attorney. You're saying you're an attorney. So that's
Lawyer Bay. Why don't you go ahead and come up here and get a piece of this too?
So unauthorized practice.
He's not coming up. I'm not having two of you up here at one time. No, I'm not.
I know, that would just be too much.
So you're saying that
because you all are cocky and arrogant. And attorneys lie all the time.
Why did I get kicked?
What the fuck?
Professional liars.
Well, order the court. Wait, before we get Pilot going. Harley.
Yeah.
Harley, can you hear me?
Oh, someone paid to drop me. Okay.
Tomfoolery, you can't come up unless you throw a money gun yourself and bring yourself back up.
Yeah, that's the rules. We didn't explain that tonight, Lisa. If you want to cover that,
stay out of our inbox.
They didn't even tell me why.
Down off the panel. If you want to come back up, you have to throw another money gun to come back up. Other than that, you're done.
Yep. Money gun take people down. You need a money gun to come back up.
And you throw a galaxy, you get to stay on the panel. You have immunity.
Oh, dang. Huh.
But if somebody throws a diamond gun, you are blocked for the entire live.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's not very productive for a
and you can't. Oh, it's very productive.
It's for money reasons. It's to make the live productive.
You know what?
A lot of creators do it.
I understand.
It's very productive.
Yeah.